The Forbidden Treasure, a Mystery Lake Adventure. Chapter 1, The Discovery. The first day of school can be the best experience of your life. You finally get to see your friends again after a couple-month break and tell them about all the adventures you had last summer. You get to see who your new teacher is, hopefully one who likes you. You get new clothes, a new desk, a new locker, new art supplies. There are so many exciting new things to explore. But it can also be a terrifying experience, especially if it's the first day at a new school and you just moved into your new neighborhood, into a new place far from your old hometown, and you hardly know a single person in this new place. That's what this first day of school was like for Alice and her twin brother Jax. Still, Alice was determined to impress her new teacher. She didn't care so much about what her classmates thought. They probably wouldn't enjoy her company anyway, and she didn't think she'd have much in common with most of them. But she sure wanted her teacher to admire her. As for Jax, he was attempting to hide from the bully who had chased him into the school auditorium. "Hey, where'd you go?" the bully called out. Jax hid behind some stage props, trying not to move an inch, trying his hardest to be silent. But his heart was pounding, and his lungs desperately wanted to suck in deep, long, loud breaths. But he didn't dare. He fought against the burning in his lungs and held his breath as long as he could. "I just want to talk to you," the bully said. "I'm a nice guy. We can be friends. My name's Zach." Zach slowly moved his way through the auditorium, checking every single row. A folding chair got in Zach's way, and with a kick, he sent it clanging across the slick linoleum floor. Jax's heart started beating faster. He didn't dare imagine what Zach might do to him, but he had to breathe. No, he'll hear me. But before Jax had a chance to stop himself, he had sucked in a deep, loud breath. He quickly clasped his hands over his mouth, desperately trying to silence his breathing. Zach's eyes darted toward the stage. His smile was sinister. If Jax could have seen it, he'd know exactly what that expression on Zach's face meant. "I've got you now." Zach stepped up onto the stage just as Alice pushed open the door to the auditorium, stopping Zach in his tracks. "Jax," she cried out with a concerned voice. "Where are you?" Zach spun around to face her. "What do you want?" he demanded fiercely. Alice eyed Zach suspiciously. "Jax, are you in here?" she shouted. "There's no one in here except me," Zach lied, with a grin on his face. "Why are you here?" Alice asked. "Why are the lights off?" But before Zach answered, Jen entered the auditorium. "I'm sick of looking for your stupid brother," she said. Alice had been sat next to Jen in class. Ms. Zedlin, their teacher, was constantly complimenting Jen. She'd say, "For later reference class, use Jen's work as an example." Or, "Look at how neat Jen's handwriting is. I sure wish I could read everyone else's as easily as hers." Ms. Zedlin had not given Alice one compliment yet, so Alice wasn't very thrilled when their teacher gave Jen the opportunity to show Jax and her around the school. Ms. Zedlin thought Alice would like this since Jen actually knew Alice. Jen's family had moved to Mystery Lake from California about a year ago, and Jen had actually lived in the same neighborhood in San Francisco as Alice before she moved. Alice tried to convince Ms. Zedlin they didn't need a guide to get them around the school. They could find their way around by themselves. But Ms. Zedlin insisted. "If we don't get back to class soon," warned Jen, "Ms. Zedlin will blame me, even though it's your dumb brother's fault." She stopped. She stared at Zach, a lump stuck in her throat. "Jax," Alice called out, "please come out." Jax was about to call out, then stopped. He knew Alice couldn't protect him from this bully, and if he dared to call out, then Alice was going to have the bully after her too. "I'm leaving and going back to class. Go find your stupid brother yourself," Jen said. "Why should I care? Just go. It's not like I'm the stupid one," Alice shouted back. "You need to come with me now," Jen demanded. "Never in a million years would I come with you," Alice said stubbornly. "I'll take care of her," offered Zach. "I can help her." This didn't sound like a very good idea to Alice. Between Jen and Zach, she'd much rather be stuck with Jen. "You didn't even see what happened to him," Jen said. "He probably just wandered back to class on his own." Jax wouldn't do that, Alice thought. It isn't like him to just leave me without saying anything. But maybe so. She was upset with him for abandoning her. He probably made some new friends on the playground and forgot all about me. In that case, he can take care of himself. The auditorium door shut behind the girls, and Zach turned back to the stage. Now that those girls were gone, he could get back to finding that little twerp. He didn't know exactly how he'd deal with Jax when he found him. Maybe he'd pin him down and thump him in the chest until Jax went nuts and begged for mercy. Maybe he'd stuff him in a trash can and then roll it down the hall and get some of his friends to join in on the fun. Or maybe he'd just punch him in the face. It didn't really matter to him what he ended up doing. He was just looking forward to messing Jax up. "Come on, Jax," Zach coaxed. "Come out and play." Zach pulled back the stage curtain. He peered into the shadows, letting his eyes adjust, searching the darkness for Jax's hiding place. Jax had to make another plan. He could sense Zach getting closer. He couldn't keep hiding much longer. Jax sprung from his hiding place and sprinted for the exit, stage right. Zach lumbered after him. Zach was nearly on him. He reached out and grabbed Jax's shirt, but in a fit of wild panic, Jax wriggled free. Jax pulled a podium down as he ran. Zach smashed into it, shin first. Zach crashed to the ground, falling hard, and slid into a backdrop that fell down on top of him. Jax burst through the stage door and didn't look back. He could hear Zach thrashing around and yelling as he tried to untangle himself. Jax ran down the hall, looking for somewhere to hide where Zach would never find him. He ran and ran, pulling on doors, trying to find one that was unlocked. Finally, one door swung open into what looked like an old storage room, probably for a science class. There were old beakers and test tubes, Bunsen burners, specimen jars, some of them filled with weird, dead animals preserved in formaldehyde. Jax wasn't in the Mystery Lake Elementary School anymore. He had stumbled into the high school, which was attached to their school building. He crept through the storage room, trying not to look at the dead animals that stared at him from their jars with dead eyes. In a different light, he would have found them interesting, but he wasn't happy about being stuck with them in a dimly lit storage room. He just needed to find a small nook to hide in. He was poking around the back of the room, trying not to break anything, when he came across something very strange. Maybe it was the light playing tricks on his eyes, but it looked like it belonged in a science fiction movie. It was like a giant metal egg covered in buttons and crisscrossed with wires, and then there was a hose coming out of it with a nozzle, like what you'd see at a gas station for pumping gas. Oh, what could that possibly be for? He stood there, wondering what this machine was. Someone opened the storage room door and flipped on the light. Jack scooted over beside a bookcase and tried to hide himself. "Who's there?" a man called out. "No one's supposed to be in this room." The man cautiously walked to the back of the room. He reached the machine, picked up a large tarp from the ground beside it, and threw it over the top. He smoothed down the tarp till he was sure the machine was completely covered. Jax shifted to a different hiding place, trying to shrink back even further, but his foot kicked a rolling cart, and a beaker tipped and fell, smashing on the floor. The man spun around. To find out what happens next, you can buy The Forbidden Treasure on Amazon, available in paperback and Kindle edition. Thank you for listening.